The 2025-26 OHL season is just around the corner, so we're doing a series right now looking at season previews for all 20 teams in the Ontario Hockey League. Today, we're going to take a look at the Sudbury Wolves. I'm on holidays this week, so fingers crossed nothing has changed since the time of recording. But I guess if there is any sort of trades or anything, we'll address that when I return from my little holiday. But for the Sudbury Wolves, this is a team that had some high expectations in recent years and have tried to keep the dream alive with some significant trades. When you look at last year, bringing in Henry Mews, that was seen as a bit of surprise for some around the OHL. But this is a management group that has faith in their team and want to see them have success come playoff time. In 2022-23, they finished with a record of 31-28-6-3, 71 points. That season, they finished fifth in the Eastern Conference standings, and a lot of people, myself included, picked Sudbury to upset Peterborough Petes in that opening round. But Peterborough had other plans and ended up sweeping the Sudbury Wolves in that opening round. In 23-24, this was seen as their go-for-it year. They had a record of 38-23, 4-3, good for 83 points, but discipline, maybe some coaching decisions, it just didn't come together. They managed to make it as far as the second round where they had to play the North Bay Battalion, but again, it was a short series and they were out in 4 games. This past season, 32-31-5 was their record for 69 points. As I mentioned, they made a trade for Henry Mews. They wanted to be competitive in the Eastern Conference. They were one of 7 teams to add at the OHL trade deadline, but you knew that one of the buyers would be out in the opening round, and it would just be that for the Sudbury Wolves, knocked out in the first round 4 straight, this time by the Kingston Frontenacs. When looking at last year's stats, they were averaging 3.6 goals per game, so not too bad there on the offense, but the goals against, they were giving up 3.95 goals against per game, so nearly 4 goals a game allowed, which is never a good sign for a team if they're wanting to go on a deep run. Their specialty teams, it did pretty good. It was 7th best last year for the power play at 23%, while their penalty kill operated at 79.1%. That was 10th, so right in the middle of the pack. Your top 5 scorers for Sudbury, Kieran Walton led the way, 38 goals, 54 assists for 92 points. Henry Mews, the offensively minded defenseman, 14 goals, 68 assists for 82 points. Then you have Nathan Villeneuve, third in scoring, 34 goals, 36 assists for 70 points. Quentin Musty, 30 goals, 29 assists for 59 points. And then Alex Ferran wrapping up the top 5, 17 goals, 42 assists for 59 points. On the goaltending side, they had a tandem of Nate Krawchuk and Finn Marshall. Krawchuk, I always felt, was underrated with the Sudbury Wolves, as he had great games every time Sudbury played the Barrie Colts. Krawchuk, he looked like he should be the starter. And last year, his numbers, not too bad. 19, 20, and 5 for a .901 save percentage. You don't see a lot of goaltenders in the OHL with a save percentage over 900. And then Finn Marshall, 13 and 9 for an .871 save percentage. And now for the Sudbury Wolves, they won't have the services of Nate Krawchuk as he's heading off to Rensselaer for the NCAA. Also, Henry Mews has decided to go on to Michigan in the NCAA. So those are the big 2 surprises. Now that CHL players are able to go the NCAA route, you're losing players that could be an overager like Krawchuk. But, they spent a lot to pick up Henry Mews, and they were kind of going for the fences with that trade. If Sudbury went on a bit of a run, that trade would have been seen as a win. But since Sudbury was knocked out in the first round, I know a few fans who are a little disappointed that the team would make that move instead of retooling and trying to go for it in the future. During the summer, though, no additions, so they haven't done any trades to bring in new players. They haven't traded anyone away, but they were one of the first teams to make signings. They signed their first-round pick, Braden Bennett, right off the hop after the 2025 OHL priority selection. They've also signed both second-round picks, Vladimir Provorov and Parker Smith. They've also added free agent Jack Zillotto. Finn Kearns is also signed with the Sudbury Wolves, and then some exciting imports. Artem Gonchar and Jan Chauvin. Gonchar, a prospect to the New York Rangers, and Chauvin, a prospect to the LA Kings. So very exciting signings there for the Sudbury Wolves team. When you look at the draft cupboard, it's starting to look a little bare, and that's because they've been doing trades to try and stay competitive in the Eastern Conference. Look at 2026, for example. They don't have any picks up until the fourth round. And then 2027, no seconds, but they have Barry's third round pick and then two fifths. And in 2028, they don't pick again until the fourth round. And then they have two in the fifth. So the cupboard, a little bare here. So this is where, for the Sudbury Wolves going into this upcoming season, uh, you you don't have a lot of assets to trade to try and bring in big names to maybe challenge again for the Central Division. And that's why I'm kind of wondering if this team may fall somewhere between 7th and 10th next season. Nothing against the talent on this team. I feel as though they're going to be competitive. Barney has been a great coach for this team. He's brought in the systems, trying to make this team more disciplined than what we've seen in the past. So if they ended up maybe say fifth or sixth, would I be surprised? No, but I'm wondering if maybe this is the year where you maybe trade some veterans and recoup some of those picks to maybe go for it in a couple seasons from now. They have some good young talent. I love Blonda. He's going to be fantastic on the blue line for this team going forward. But yeah, right now I'm thinking 7th to 10th for the Sudbury Wolves. The imports, like I said, they're very exciting, but I don't know if this is the year to go for it. Although we've seen the Wolves make those big trades at the deadline these last 3 seasons. So you never know. Taking a look at the channel vote and how people here on the channel view the Sudbury Wolves, well, 3% say the Sudbury Wolves should be a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference, while 33%, they say they should finish somewhere between 4th and 6th, and 63%, so majority of the vote, thinking the Sudbury Wolves will fall between 7th and 10th, and that's kind of where I'm falling when it comes to my prediction for the Sudbury Wolves this upcoming season. So I want to see the Sudbury Wolves have success. I've mentioned here on the channel before how I used to cover the Sudbury Wolves on the radio side of things, and I just want to see this team have success. And I think for this team, it won't come this year, but if they can, maybe make those smart trades to recoup young talent and picks, who knows? Maybe they could go for a run in the 26-27 campaign. Time will tell, but let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on the Sudbury Wolves team coming up this season. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.